You can run from a nightmare, but what if the nightmare resets? Every 5 days, time rewinds. People disappear, memories fade, and the only constant is her. Violet, the girl who watches, the girl who waits, the girl who will kill anyone who gets in her way. Trapped in a town where time loops and love turns to obsession, one boy must uncover the truth before he's erased like the ones before him. But there's one problem. Violet is always one step ahead. And this time, she's making sure there's no way out. Date: the 6th of September 2021. Today we finally meet Prince Charming. The birds were singing. The sun was shining through my blinds, inviting me up to face the day. It seemed like a normal day. I lived in the nice town of Parselton, Missouri, and went to the school down the road. Now, was I a popular person? Kinda. I mean, I have a few friends, but that's it. I had a good friend across the street. Her name was Melanie. I'd known her in middle school, and we sorta just bonded. Not much to say that hasn't been said. She's like a little sister to me, and I wouldn't have it any other way. The first day of school and everything stayed the same as it ever does. I did make a few new friends. Their names are Violet and Charlotte. They seem nice, although I caught Violet staring at me a few times in class, and whenever I looked at her, she would blush and turn away. Melanie seemed pretty grumpy when I brought this up on the way home, but that's whatever. Melanie was up super late and wouldn't respond to my texts. Hope she's okay. The 7th of September 2021. I want to rest my head on his lap. It was a rainy day. Thunder streaked down from the sky. Melanie finally texted and told me that she wants me to hang out with Charlotte and Violet. I guess it's worth a shot. School was the same as ever. I had lunch with Violet. She brought mostly candy. I told her she should eat healthier. She seemed happy and rested on my shoulder. That was nice. We hung out at the library. A girl bumped into me when I walked in. I feel like I know her, but on second glance, I was mistaken. Violet sat by me and rested her hand on my inner thigh. That was weird, so I sat with Melanie. Violet glared at Melanie, but then smiled at me with a dazzling smile that could blind the sun. I had a lot of fun. Hope that we're gonna hang out again soon. Melanie was up late again. Seemed to be on the phone and was arguing. From what I could see, she was crying. I hope she's okay. The 8th of September 2021. Today's the day I will finally kiss him. Melanie didn't come to school and said she wasn't feeling well today. Violet seemed pleased with herself during lunch. She had salad. I congratulated her on eating healthier, and she rested her head on me. I think I might ask her out. Charlotte seemed a little upset with her homework, so I helped her. She seemed to understand it better afterwards. Violet walked home with me and gave me a kiss on the cheek, then ran home. I think Melanie saw. I tried knocking on her door, but she wouldn't answer. Her lights were off. She didn't stay up late. Hope she's okay. The 9th of September 2021. She needs to get out of my way. Melanie came to school today. She held my hand on the way to school. I'm conflicted on how I feel about this, so I let go. When Violet showed up, I'm going to ask her out on Monday. At lunch, I told Melanie. It looked like her smile was forced before she ran off through the front door. I worry that I hurt her, but that's not what matters right now. I walked home with Violet again and kissed her on my front doorstep. It really was a good day. I'll talk with Melanie in the morning. Bright and early would be perfect. There weren't any lights in her room tonight. I hope she's okay. The 10th of September 2021. Today the world ends. She will die. I hurried to Melanie's house and just let myself in today. We've lived across the way from each other for almost 5 years, so this is normal. I got to her room and knocked, not wanting to be too rude, seeing as I just walked into her house. "Wake up, sleepyhead." I opened the door. I couldn't look. I noticed everything else in the room first. The stuffed animals, discs stacked everywhere, the bed neatly made, the chair tipped over on the ground, the red lettering on the wall saying, "I loved you." I finally faced it and looked at her feet and worked my way up. I suppressed the vomit coming up. I hurt her so badly. I should have paid more attention. I should have helped her. I should have seen how much she cared about me. But what does it matter anymore? That was the day the world ended. As I leave, I hear the whispers. "You're all mine now." That didn't work. I thought if I got rid of her, he'd come to me. But no, you suicide his best friend. And now he won't come out of his room. End. The 6th of September 2021. Let's try this again. The birds sang a sweet song, blissful beyond comprehension. The sun came through my blinds and poked through my eyelids, alerting me that it was time to face the day. I don't have very many friends, but that's okay. It's the first day of high school, and I feel ready to face this beautiful town of Parceltown, Missouri. Not a lot of people in my neighborhood really speak to me. There's a girl that lives across the street. We never talk, and I don't know her name. Sometimes it feels like I know her, but I don't really think it's worth it to take that jump. I met a few new people at school today. One is a timid little girl named Charlotte, and the other a rather voluptuous girl named Violet. She has diamond blue eyes and straight black hair. Something about her is incredible. She was staring at me several times during class today and blushed every time and looked away, hiding a small smile. I think she may be attracted to me. We talked at lunch today and had a rather lovely conversation. Classes were rather boring, although we got a fair bit of homework. Charlotte decided to walk with me. Something seemed to be bothering her, but she wouldn't share. We exchanged numbers and stayed up late, but still wouldn't tell me what was bothering her. I hope she's okay. The 7th of September 2021. I want to feel his touch. There was a thunderstorm today. It was so powerful, it was as if the gods themselves were throwing thunderbolts onto this city. Most of the power went out in the neighborhood, but I had to walk to school. I was drenched and rather uncomfortable during class. At lunch, I ate with Violet. I had a nice sandwich with turkey. She had candy. I told her she should eat healthier. This made her beam. She rested and took a small nap on my shoulder. That was nice. Charlotte bounded up to me with a guy in tow, telling me that they are studying in the library after school and that I should join. This seemed like it could have been fun, so I went. The guy's name is Trent. He's the big brain type and helped a lot. Violet chose to sit by me and rested her hand on my inner thigh. That was a little too much for me, so I sat with Charlotte and helped her with her homework. Violet looked pissed. I hope I didn't upset her too much. Me and Trent decided to walk home and talk. He's a really cool dude. When I got home, the power was back so I could do what was left of my homework. Violet was really upset. I hope she's okay. The 8th of September 2021. I hope he kisses me again. Trent showed up at my house this morning with breakfast. 2 cups of coffee with cream and sugar and 2 sandwiches. He walked with me today and asked me everything about myself. I feel rather close to him for some reason. I kinda don't like him, but not in a way I've ever felt. Charlotte and Violet got into a fight at lunch. Violet stormed home at lunch and didn't come back. Trent and I walked home after school. He gave me a kiss on the cheek. I felt butterflies in my stomach and stayed up texting him till I fell asleep. Charlotte and her fight came to mind. I hope she's okay. The 9th of September 2021. Seriously? He's in my way now. I woke up with Trent in my room. He said he climbed in through the window. I should have known that those vines would bite me in the ass. He told me that he wanted to skip school today. So we stayed in and watched movies all day. I kissed him. For my first kiss, it was everything I was hoping for and more. He asked me to be his boyfriend in the sweetest tone I've ever heard. I obviously told him, of course. He left around midnight. When I finally checked my phone, Charlotte told me she was worried sick in around 17 text messages. She seemed really worried. I hope she's okay. The 10th of September 2021. You little shit, you think you can just take what's mine? Fine. This will show you. Trent was in my room again. I figured he'd want to skip again. I sat up excited and asked him if he came in through the window again. He shook his head, then stood up crying. He pulled a pistol out of his pocket. I yelled and lunged at him to stop him. He put the gun to his head and pulled the trigger, splattering the wall with blood covering me, in a red, coppery, chunky mist as well. I tasted his blood, salty and hot. I thought about the day before, the kisses and the talks we had. I emptied the contents of my stomach, burning with acid. I looked at his slumped body and then blacked out from panic. A familiar voice whispered in my head, "Don't you understand? You're supposed to be with me." What is this boy's issue? It's like he hasn't seen this time and time again. And the 6th of September 2021, I get to see him again. I long for his touch. The sun was like a piercing dagger in my eye. I sat up and readied myself. I live in Parseltone, Missouri, a small town of approximately 300 people. I don't know a lot of people other than myself. I'd like to think I'm nice enough, but the only person that really talks to me anymore is Charlotte. She's one of my study buddies and is friends with a girl across the street. On weekends, she goes to her house, then together they come to my place and study with me. It's strange. I've spent hours in the same room with Charlotte and this girl, and I've only ever talked to Charlotte. I walk to school alone, watching all the couples and friends, wondering what it's like to be part of a group. Charlotte caught up to me, asking questions about what we covered. We got to class, and the most beautiful goddess I've ever seen bounded up to us. Her name is Violet. She has long brown hair and the most gorgeous blue eyes I've ever seen. They were as if you were falling into a deep pool. But why would she ever want a loser like me? She was surprisingly nice and had the first class with us. I caught her staring at me a lot. Or maybe I was staring at her for all I know. She would smile every time and mouth to me to pay attention to class. After school, I texted Charlotte most of the night. She said things have been rough at home with her mom. I hope she's not okay. The 7th of September 2021. I want you so badly. I'm falling apart, thinking about it. A thunderstorm has overtaken our town. The power has gone out in most of the town. I carried a trusty umbrella to the school and arrived only 75% soaking wet. Charlotte was there first and hugged me from my warmth. I could feel my soul escaping this mortal coil. Because you don't want her, Violet ate lunch with me. She had the most sugar-filled meal I've ever seen in my life. I instructed her on the bad sugars and carbs in her food. She giggled and threw the food away. She started laughing into what almost seemed a maniacal, shrill shriek, then ran out the door looking the most embarrassed I've ever seen someone, almost like she lost control of herself. Charlotte decided to study with me in the library. I'm sure I'm just losing it, but I feel like I was being watched by my one true love. It was beautiful, like a stalker wanted me. The 8th of September 2021. I painted your picture in his blood. Do you remember his name? I hated him. The rain stopped overnight. The grass outside was soaked, but a double rainbow made the sky glow. I saw my neighbor across the street leaving for school. I tried to say hi to her. All she could do was look at me and murmured, "Run away from her," before walking the opposite way from the school. Who was she talking about? Your true love. Chills ran down my spine. I'd heard the voice before but never could take in the familiarity. Maybe I should call Char. It's after school. Charlotte is in my house, and we're studying. What happened? I don't remember school at all. I look up at Charlotte and clear my throat. Hey Charlotte, that girl you live across the street from, what's her name? She gave me a funny look and said, "Why do you want to know?" I explained, I've lived across the street from her for years, and yet I had never really spoken to her till today. Oh really, what did she say? Something about running from her. Charlotte's face paled as she rushed up and packed her bag. We can't talk about this. If she figures out I don't know what will happen to me. She slammed the door shut behind her, leaving me still with more questions and answers. Who is she? Your true love. Who is this voice? You should know by now. Am I insane? No more than meet the 9th of September 2021. How? Every time I think I have you to myself, I lose you to someone else. I'm so tired of this pain. I want it to be over. Submit to me, and then the nightmare will end. God, I love you so much. Why can't you see me the same way I see you? Charlotte was outside my door this morning shivering. She seemed worried to death. She said it's the only place in the world she feels safe anymore. I've decided to let her take my guest bedroom for a while, with no thought of whether or not her parents will care. She decided to sleep in today, so I left for school alone. Violet was almost foaming at the mouth when she saw me. I decided for my own health I should not associate with crazy people and avoided her all day. She was following me through the day, sending chills down my spine every time I spotted her. I ran home and locked the door behind me, hyperventilating. Was she still following me? Why does she follow me so much? I love you. Why do I hear her voice? I know everything. Why can she do this? Truthfully, I don't know. But let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a girl. She was perfect in every way debatable. Shut up. I'm telling the story now. She met a boy, sweet as can be and handsome to boot. This was a small town that no one cared about. A blip on the map, really. She fell for this boy instantly and tried for the first week of school to make him love her, but to no avail. She cried that night harder than she ever had, just wanting to have him. But instead, he fell for that bitch. Who even remembers at this point? So she killed her. After that, something happened, and time itself moved back precisely 5 days. So she tried again, and again, and again, doing whatever it would take to make him fall for her, and truly live happily ever after. I have a question. How many times has this happened? I lost track years ago. Could be decades, could be a small handful of times. Really, why are there still so many people left in this town? When I kill someone, they remain, but they just don't see you anymore. What about the girl across the street? I don't know. Now I'm tired of this conversation. You're not going to remember this, I promise. God knows he screwed this day up. The 9th of September 2021. Charlotte was outside my door with her school supplies ready. So the school is shut down for the day. I asked why, and she said something about a water main burst at the school. I let her in so we could chat and study yesterday's work. She went to the bathroom after a while and left her phone. Texts started barraging in from Violet, telling her not to even think about what she was doing or she'd end up just like they did. I set her phone back down, shaking slightly. Charlotte came out with a blank face. Her face looked sanded away, flat, expressionless, void of life. She didn't say anything, squeezed my hand and ran out the door. She looked back at my house momentarily before running off to wherever she lives. The 10th of September, 2021. It was inevitable. It'd end up this way, isn't it? Charlotte was in my living room this morning. Her wrists slit as she lay there breathing heavily, losing what's left of her life. I tried my hardest to save her. I covered her with towels and applied pressure to the wounds. She pulled me close and kissed me hard. My vision started going dark and Charlotte whispered in my ear, "She loses." I lose, huh? Awful cocky for a dead woman? End. The 6th of September 2021. The last obstacle is gone. You're mine now. My alarm went off, blaring its annoying tone. I live in the small town of Parcel, Missouri, and it's my first day of high school. I only have one friend, and her name is Charlotte. We've known each other as far back as I remember. I trudged my way out the door and bumped into Charlotte on the way to school. We talked about school. However, before we could get to the school, she pulled me aside and pulled up her sleeves, showing the long, silvery scar on her wrist. "Listen, how much do you remember?" I thought to myself and couldn't think of a thing, absolutely nothing. That's what Violet wants you to think no matter what. Remember, you can't let me die or we both lose. Stay away from her at all costs, and stick to me. She was trembling in fear, unlike anything I've ever seen before from her. I sat by her the rest of the day and avoided the girl she called Violet, as if my life depended on it. Charlotte slept by me in my bed, her breath small and careful on my neck, sending shivers down my spine with every small exhale. The 7th of September 2021. How is she alive? I fucking killed her. Thunder poured down from the heavens. Charlotte shivered looking outside. She knows. She's angrier than ever. You may have to go without me. This didn't seem right at all. What if she gets you? Charlotte stood up and stretched. She can only kill on Friday. Why? No one knows at this point. We have no idea why she is the way she is. Can we kill her? Truthfully, no, but you can try. We avoided Violet and didn't separate from each other at all. We slept in the same bed again. Her light breath sent shivers down my spine. I whispered, in the dead of the night, "I love you, Charlotte." She remained unmoving, still asleep, as the sweet retreat of sleep took me. The 8th of September 2021. Your life is going to become hell. The sun didn't rise today, but everyone marched up the street talking as if this were normal. Could they not see it? What was wrong with them? We did our best to blend in, walking in what seemed like pitch black night. School was nothing extraordinary, and we didn't see Violet once. What was she scheming? We got to home with no incident. However, when we got home, the house felt different. A room I've entered my whole life, and now it feels like a stranger's home. We explored and found nothing till we entered my room. For a moment we saw Melanie's dead body hanging from the ceiling, then disappeared from our vision entirely. We had to be going insane. But if what Charlotte was saying was true, I must have been sane. We chose to go to bed, and in the middle of the night, while we lay there pretending to sleep, we kissed. Maybe it was 'cause we knew we were going to die if we weren't careful with Violet. It was not that, however. It was more, and it was everything in that night, skin to skin, and our strengths becoming one. The 9th of September 2021. What have you done? You touched my man, and now I'm gonna hurt you worse than all of them. You will suffer. We dressed uneasily the next morning. What was there to say? What could we say about the night before without making it awkward? We got our things and walked to school hand in hand. making sure Violet saw. Her eyes turned solid black, and the world itself tried to pull Charlotte's arm to her neck, but she was too weak. Violet clutched her skull and fell down, letting loose the most blood-curdling scream I've ever heard, and disappeared from our sight. Charlotte turned to me, beaming. "We did it. We killed her." We danced around excitedly. That night, we ate dinner together and went to kiss again. Before we could, a barrier seemed to stop us. Violet appeared behind Charlotte and took her, saying in a strangled voice, "Soon, my love, we'll be together." The 10th of September, 2021. I woke up in the hall of the school, an eerie, blood-red sun pouring light through the windows. I climbed up, feeling physically taxed. I examined what was ahead of me, shivers running down my spine. I have seen this hall so many times already, so why does it feel so strange? I walked down the hall and tried every door. They were all locked except for one. I turned the doorknob slowly, hearing panting in the room. I swallowed my fear and walked in. The walls were literally painted with blood. Violet sat on the ground, stabbing the mass on the ground over and over. Charlotte's head detached on the desk, staring right at the door. Blood in her normally blonde hair turned auburn. My hands felt clammy and weak, and I reached for the first thing I could find, a wooden desk chair. Violet felt my presence and stood up and walked to Charlotte's head, driving the knife into the top of her and letting out a wild laugh. She turned to me and composed herself. "I'm so sorry you had to see this. Just let me rease." I tensed my muscle on the chair and lifted before she could finish the sentence. I threw a chair at her as hard as I could. She swiped it away without touching it and growled, "What are you doing?" I thought frantically, what could I do? All she wants is me, that's it. I just had to be sure. She looked flabbergasted and picked up her knife. Sure of what? I walked closer, carefully stepping to not slip in Charlotte's putrid remains. The memories of our night together flashed through my mind, thinking of everything we told each other in whispers. That's what Violet wanted to hear, wasn't it? I had to be sure you were strong enough. For me, I understand what you want. You want me, and you've done it. You've won me. I'm yours. I got closer to her and tried not to grimace as I pressed my lips to hers. She tastes like Charlotte, but I won't vomit. Her grip loosens on the knife. I yank it out of her hand and stab her, the world seeming to crack apart. She let out an unhuman howl and fell down. I brought the knife into her again, and she twitched, changing into Melanie, saying in her soft voice, "Why are you doing this stab? Trent, I love you, slash. Charlotte, we'll always have that night." I lost it and stabbed her over and over, making her form change into so many people in the town. Mom, Dad, my sister, teachers, neighbors, people I never will know. This bitch took everything I had, and now she would pay. I brought the knife down one last time and ripped her heart out, crushing it in my bare hands. She finally fell silent and let loose one whisper. "Thank you, my love." I sat there, the blood running off my hands. I got up and cradled Charlotte's head, letting a tear loose. Blood dropped on her beautiful face. I wiped it off and recoiled at the waxy texture of her skin. I set it back down and laughed. The nightmare, it seemed, was over, and this time no one was okay. Deep down, I felt something deeply integral to myself disappear. As I snapped my fingers and the world around me turned black, the blood was washing from my skin. Something else finally snapped. I watched all the events of all past 5 days happen. I watched myself stab her again. I watched the previous classes. I reflected on what was going to happen once it finally ended. Beginning. XXXXXXX. Pa. L. Parcel. Parseltown, Parseltown, Parkletown. What difference does it make? All that's left is darkness. Everyone who died, who will continue the life they once lived. But me, there's an issue with it. I know now. I see it. Whether it's all ones and zeros, ink on a page, or cosmic puppets, we are just a creation of someone's sick and twisted mind. Violet didn't love me. She loved whomever created her. They started to feel a contempt for her and had to kill her before she consumed him. And I know you're listening to me. You there with the fucked up face. I hope you realize. I hate you. You caused me so much pain. How are you gonna fix this? That's simple. Make a choice. Who did you really love? If you want, I'll bring them all back and let you live the life you wanted. Just say it. Who are you? Why did you do this? I'm you. You're me. This is a story. Your fiction. My creation. So this was all for your own sick enjoyment? Something of the sort. I really loved imagining how it would happen and how it would work. Listen here. I loved all of them. You took them from me. It's an analogy. For what? That's up to you to decide. Did we mean anything to you? I've been working on you all for so long. What do you want? I intend to finish this story sometime, and if I know what will make you happy, it can be done. Give them back to me. So be it. The 6th of September, 2021. I woke up in the greatest mood I've ever been in my life. I live in the greatest city, Parselton, Missouri. I ate my breakfast, kissed my mom on the cheek, and ran out to meet Melanie at her house. We walked up to the school. Charlotte followed up soon after, wrapping her arm around my waist. I held her close as we approached the school. It was a good day. Me, Charlotte, Melanie, and Trent all hung out in the library. The 8th of September 2021. Charlotte met my family last night. They seemed to love her. School today was shut down for a power outage, so I hung out with my sister. It seemed like I hadn't seen her in forever. The 10th of September 2021. I woke up with a pit in my stomach. Something felt wrong. I tried to sit up but couldn't. It was obvious. I caught a flu. I hobbled into the living room and let my mom know, going to bed for the day. Charlotte sent love over the phone while I slept. It made me feel much better. The 11th of September 2021. Charlotte and Melanie showed up at my house with cupcakes. We all rode our bikes around the town and saw the latest box office hit. Charlotte kept getting scared and curled up into my chest. The 12th of September 2021. A guy was trying to flirt with Charlotte today. This won't do. He won't be around for much longer doing that again. The 13th of September 2021. Today is my first day of school. I'm so excited. It sucked to move to this small town, but I'm sure I'll make so many friends. When I got to the school, a cute boy accidentally bumped into me. He seemed familiar. I'm so sure I know him. Oh, well, that doesn't matter. End. The 6th of September 2022. Charlotte is mine, and anyone who tries to touch her will pay.